So, I've spent a full year with this absolute beast of a machine, a totally maxed out MacBook Pro with the M4 Max chip. And the big question everyone asks is it really worth it? Or is it just a super expensive status symbol? Well, this isn't going to be one of those first look reviews. Nope. This is a verdict after a year in the trenches, looking at its real value as a professional tool.
And this quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. We're not talking about the sticker price. We're talking about the return. Does this machine save you so much time that it actually pays for itself? Does it unlock new ways of working? That's what we're here to figure out. So before we get to that verdict, let's be super clear about the exact tool we're talking about, because this machine was configured to be, well, pretty much the most powerful laptop you can get. We're looking at the 16-inch MacBook Pro. Inside, it's got the top-tier M4 Max chip, a frankly staggering 128 gigabytes of RAM, and an 8 terabyte solid-state drive. This isn't just top of the line. This thing is built to handle workloads that would make most other computers just, well, cry. Okay, let's start with the thing you look at all day long, the screen. For any professional who isn't chained to a desk, this display is more than just a display. It's your entire workspace on the go. You know that extra screen real estate you get with a 16-inch model? It is absolutely critical. Imagine you're on location, editing video with a deadline breathing down your neck. Having that bigger canvas means you can see your timeline and your preview clearly without everything feeling all cramped. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity for getting things done fast. Then there's the screen finish. You've got the standard glossy one, which makes everything look super sharp, or you can get the nano texture matte finish. Now, the matte screen might be a tiny bit less sharp if you really squint, but its anti-reflection is a total lifesaver. If you ever work in weird lighting, like outdoors or in a bright convention center, it just kills the glare so you can actually see what you're doing. It's a game changer. All right, let's move on to the single most important decision you're going to make if you buy one of these. It really all comes down to the chip inside. The question seems simple, but the answer really defines your whole experience with the laptop. Should you get the M4 Pro or go all in on the M4 Max? And the right choice, well, it completely depends on the work you do. So here's the simplest way to break it down. The M4 Pro is a monster for anything that relies on the main processor. Think programming, data science, that kind of stuff. But the M4 Max, it's a completely different beast. It doubles down on graphics power with twice the GPU cores. So if your job involves video, motion graphics, or 3D rendering, anything visual, the M4 Max isn't just a nice upgrade, it's really the only choice. But this is where the story gets really interesting. The true power of this specific, maxed out machine shows up in a field that is just exploding right now: artificial intelligence. At first, 128 gigabytes of RAM just sounds like complete overkill. I mean, for most video editing or coding you do today, it is. You would almost never use all of it. See, it's not really about today's workload. It's about tomorrow's. This massive amount of RAM is exactly what you need to run large, complex AI models directly on your laptop without ever needing to connect to the cloud. This just opens up a whole new universe for developers and anyone experimenting in that field. And it's not just the amount of RAM, it's the speed. The M4 Max has way more memory bandwidth. Think of it like a data superhighway. A wider highway means you can move a lot more data at once. For AI, this means loading those gigantic models into memory is incredibly fast. You can go from a dead stop to a working model in just a fraction of the time. Of course, you don't get all this power for free. There are some real practical trade-offs you have to think about when you get a machine this powerful. The biggest one? Battery life. For normal stuff like email and web browsing, you'll get a solid 9 hours, no problem. But the second you fire up those extra GPU cores for heavy-duty video editing, that battery life just plummets. You're looking at maybe 4 to 5 hours tops. All that power is thirsty.
But here's the flip side of that. Even when you're pushing this machine to its absolute limit, exporting a huge video file or something, the fans are barely a whisper. The laptop stays cool and quiet. And that is a massive quality of life win, especially compared to some performance laptops that sound like a jet taking off. And you know, beyond all the power and performance, the rest of the machine just nails the basics. The speakers aren't just good for a laptop, they're genuinely fantastic. The trackpad is huge, responsive, just flawless. And, so important, you get the ports a professional actually needs: Thunderbolt, HDMI, and an SD card slot. You can finally leave that little bag of dongles at home. So after a whole year, what is the final verdict? Who is this machine actually for? It really boils down to this. If you're a creative professional and your income directly depends on how fast you can render, edit, or model things, then the M4 Max is a tool that pays for itself in time saved. Simple as that. The same is true for AI developers who need all that RAM and bandwidth for local models. For those people, this is a clear-cut investment. But it's also really important to keep some perspective. You probably don't need the absolute latest and greatest. Honestly, the older M1, M2, and even M3 Max chips are still incredibly powerful machines that can handle the vast majority of professional creative work out there right now. The M4 Max is really for the people who are pushing the absolute bleeding edge. And that kind of leaves us with one last fascinating thought. As artificial intelligence gets woven deeper and deeper into all our tools, from Photoshop to our coding software, is it possible that the power that seems like overkill today will just become the new standard requirement for getting work done tomorrow? That's the real question, isn't it?
If you enjoy this video, please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell to the latest update from my channel. Thank you for watching till the end, and see you in the next video.